Good evening. Tonight we have new details on Queensland's COVID plan. The rules are changing. If you're a close contact of a confirmed case, you'll still need to be forced into quarantine. You just won't need to serve as much time. The idea is to keep the state open and operating as much as possible as the virus comes in.
The pandemic has by no means been a walk in the park. But in 31 hours' time, quite possibly the state of Queensland's biggest leap forward. And this morning, the biggest changes to how we quarantine since the control measure was introduced some 18 months ago.
We can announce today that from 1 January that we will be changing the quarantine arrangements for people who are fully vaccinated. You will only need to quarantine for 7 days. And get a test on day 5, and when you get that negative test after day 7, you'll be able to be released.
Between days 8 and 14, you must wear masks everywhere outdoors, and it's a requirement you avoid high-risk settings.
We don't want you going into hospitals, aged care facilities, correctional facilities, youth detention centres and the like.
Changes too for households. If you are vaccinated and someone within your home is a close contact, you will not be required to isolate. But you will need to be COVID tested on day 1 and day 5 after your exposure. But if you're unvaccinated, then
you will need to do the same 7-day quarantines and comply with the same requirements for days 8 to 14.
These rules will be mirrored for businesses. For weeks now, they've been seeking clarity. There will also be big changes to cleaning requirements for exposed businesses. As it stands now, you are required to have a deep COVID clean performed, but as of today, a standard clean will be suffice.
They've just found out they're an exposure site. They may stay closed for lunch so they can do a cleaning of the tables and chairs and a good wipe down of the facility and open up for dinner again.
And Peter Fegan joins us now in the studio. Peter, how does this Queensland plan compare to the rest of the country?
Well, Jonathan, for months now, the government has said it will keep an eye on how things play out in New South Wales and Victoria. And yes, the modelling announced today is very similar to both states, but Health Minister Yvette D'Arth admitted today that the plan was taken directly out of South Australia's scrapbook.
It's working well for them. We are confident it can work well for us. It creates alignment for those states who haven't had major outbreak, and we're very comfortable that we think this is the right mix.
Now, Jonathan, I must say the most common question being asked still is for people returning into Queensland or here to visit, how they fill out that entry pass. Again, the entry pass will not be made available on that Queensland Health website until midnight tomorrow night, Queensland time.
Good on you, Peter. Thanks very much. There is a new COVID case on the Gold Coast. Jesse Burns is live for us right now. Jesse, a day from the border opening, exposure sites are growing right across the southeast.
Another case on the coast adding to a growing cluster, but it can hardly quash excitement as twin cities gear up to become reunited. In just over 24 hours' time, those border walls will become sensationally crashing down. A steep drop-off from yesterday's cases, but the Gold Coast isn't in the clear yet.
You can get this virus anywhere and that you have to be vigilant.
One new case recorded today, a woman who was already under investigation from a previous cluster.
The genomic sequencing we've got back so far from these positive cases on the Gold Coast are Delta.
From Currumbin to Coomera, exposure sites mounting across the coast. Major stores including Bunnings, Woolworths and a Coles all exposed. And it's slowly creeping closer to Brisbane. A target at Upper Mount Gravatt now on alert.
I want these testing numbers to increase, particularly on the Gold Coast, when we've got so many cases at the moment.
But as the virus spreads at a rapid rate, anticipation is outrunning it. Queensland's border reopening now within an earshot.
Expecting a very busy day on our first day.
We're really excited now for the borders opening up next week. You know, we're ready for it, so come on down.
Not even for us, like the whole community over here, especially to the Coolangatta area. Like, it will be pretty good for us.
Here at Brunswick Heads Caravan Park, Monday can't come soon enough.
My brother's brother-in-law is very, very ill. We're going to have a family gathering at the palliative care home.
For the Schaefer family, these meetings have become all too common, separated by makeshift barriers for months. But come next week, Nan can finally hold her grandson without divide.
It's been hard. It's taken its toll on everyone, families especially.
It'll be certainly make life a lot easier. So yes, it'll be good. Make it a freer thing.
Jesse Burns, 9 News.
And to our COVID countdown, and there is just over 1 day until the border opens. Right now, 88.2% of Queenslanders have had their first dose of a vaccine, while 81% have had both.